Okay, so let's unpack this situation we've been looking into. We've gathered um, a lot of material here.
Yeah, insights from reports, expert views,
Mm.
comments from people really high up. Tech, finance,
Right. And it all points towards, well, potentially a huge shift coming.
a really big one.
The topic. Artificial intelligence and what it could mean for jobs, especially those white-collar roles, the ones that maybe feel safe right now.
Mhm.
Our goal here is simple, really. Just pull out the most important takeaways from all this material,
Yeah,
give you a clearer picture of what the folks actually building and using this tech are saying.
exactly.
Because the sources, they really highlight this core tension, don't they?
They absolutely do.
On one side, you have this incredible, almost, unbelievable potential with AI, breakthroughs in medicine, huge economic growth.
Unimaginable good, as some put it.
But then the flip side,
Yeah.
it raises some really serious, immediate questions. Job security for millions of people.
Yeah, it's this mix. Incredible upside, but also profound concern.
Okay.
It's unsettling.
And the insights we're looking at today, they're not just like academic theories, are they?
Not at all. This is coming straight from the engine room, you could say.
Oh, okay.
We're talking perspectives from like the CEO of a major AI company,
Right.
reporting on chats with other big tech and business leaders.
Yeah.
Even comments from the CEO of a huge investment bank.
So people right there shaping it.
Exactly. They're not just watching, they're actively involved.
So the big question all this material kind of forces us to ask is, well, how fast? And how fundamentally could AI change the job market according to these sources?
Yeah, and what did that actually mean?
What does it mean for you, your career, your field, maybe even, your kids' futures?
That's a heavy question.
Let's start with a real wake-up call. This one comes from inside the AI world itself. Dario Amodei, he's the CEO of Anthropic.
Right. Anthropic, they build some of the most powerful AI models out there. So yeah, he's not an outsider looking in.
He's right in the middle of it.
Definitely. And Amodei, well, the reporting says he's delivering a pretty blunt prediction, maybe even alarming.
Okay, what is it?
He believes AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs.
Half. Wow.
Yeah. And get this, within the next 1 to 5 years.
1 to 5 years, that's incredibly soon.
It is. And he doesn't pull any punches about the outcome either.
Mhm.
He suggests this could realistically push unemployment up to like 10%, maybe even 20%.
20%. That's Great Depression territory almost.
Levels we haven't seen in, generations.
And the jobs he mentions, it's striking. It's not just, factory automation anymore.
No, not at all. He's specifically calling out sectors like tech, finance, law, consulting.
The traditional white-collar paths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the heaviest hit, he warns, will be those entry-level spots.
With first jobs out of college, the bottom rungs.
Those very ones, yeah.
So why is he speaking out so strongly? What's the reason, according to the reports?
Well, it seems to be a sense of obligation. He feels like the AI companies and governments, too, they aren't being honest enough.
About the potential downsides.
Right. He thinks they need to stop, quote, sugarcoating what might be coming. His hope, it seems, is that by being upfront, he can push people, businesses, policymakers to start preparing. Now, figure out how to soften the blow.
But here's the thing that gets me, and it's a bit concerning.
Yeah.
He says people aren't really listening.
That's what he notes.
Yeah.
Very few seem to be taking it seriously. He talks about lawmakers who maybe don't get the tech or just don't believe the scale of it.
Or CEOs may be afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, he mentions that too. Afraid of market reactions, maybe, or causing panic internally.
And most workers are just unaware.
That's his assessment. He's actually quoted saying, "It sounds crazy, and people just don't believe it."
Wow. It's like he sees a train coming.
And people will only realize it, after it hits, as he puts it.
That's sobering.
There's even a political angle mentioned in the reporting. Yeah, Steve Bannon, from the Trump administration, apparently he sees this whole AI job loss thing
As a big issue?
huge. He specifically mentioned the potential, quote, evisceration of entry-level jobs for people under 30. Thinks it could be a central issue for, like, the 2028 election.
Interesting. So Amodei sounds like he's really wrestling with this, the power of what he's building.
Yeah, the sources paint that picture. They describe him talking about these scenarios playing out in his mind.
Like what?
On one hand, just incredible good, curing cancer, 10% economic growth a year, balancing budgets, amazing stuff.
Okay.
But right alongside that potential utopia, The dystopia. Like
Yep.
20% of the population may be unable to contribute economically.
He sees both as real possibilities.
Seems that way. Both extremes, driven by AI's exponential growth.
So, okay, how could this happen so fast? What are the mechanics here, according to the insights?
It really starts with how quickly the core AI models are improving. Things like large language models, LLMs, the tech behind ChatGPT and others.
Right.
Companies like Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, they're pushing these models constantly, getting them to do more and more tasks as well as humans, or even better.
And this isn't future stuff, you're saying?
No, it's happening now, and it's speeding up, accelerating.
Got it. And the material makes this distinction, right? Between AI helping people and AI replacing people.
Exactly. That's crucial. For a while, AI was mostly about augmenting work, giving people better tools, making them faster, more efficient.
Like a superpower tool. That sounds good.
It can be good for productivity, can even make jobs more interesting. But what we're seeing now, and the reports really stress this, is a shift towards AI automating tasks.
Doing the job itself.
Doing the job itself, not just helping the human, but performing the work.
And that brings us to this idea of agents.
Yes, agents. That's
Yeah.
a key concept discussed. These are basically AI systems, powered by those really smart LLMs.
Okay.
And they're designed to take action, complete tasks all on their own, autonomously.
And the description is quite stark.
It is. AI that can do human work instantly, indefinitely, and exponentially cheaper. That's the quote.
Wow. Instantly, indefinitely cheaper. And what kind of work are we talking about? Are there examples?
Oh yeah, concrete examples. And this isn't theory, they stress. These are agents being built now.
Like what?
Writing software code, handling complex financial analysis, managing customer support, like from start to finish.
So not just simple chatbots.
No, much more advanced. Running marketing campaigns, doing copy editing, performing really extensive research that would take a person days or weeks.
So many of these are already operating.
The message is clear.
Yeah.
Yes, many are live, and their capabilities are just growing incredibly fast.
Okay.
There was even that specific prediction cited from Mark Zuckerberg at Meta
Right. You mentioned him.
about coders.
Yeah. He suggested the need for, mid-level human software engineers might drop off significantly pretty soon, maybe even this calendar year, 2025.
It's a year.
Soon. And the longer-term hint is, well, maybe fewer human software engineers needed overall. It really hammers home the speed everyone's talking about, this feeling that it's not going to be slow and steady.
Exactly. The general consensus cited is that this shift, this move to an agentic future,
Yeah.
it'll feel like it happens gradually and then suddenly.
Gradually, then suddenly. And that suddenly moment could be next year.
That's the suggestion.
Yeah.
Could be that close, when the impact just becomes undeniable.
So this potential speed, it must be causing some ripples in the business world.
Oh, absolutely. According to the material, there's this sort of quiet urgency in boardrooms.
Well, quiet urgency.
Yeah. CEOs across different industries are reportedly working furiously, not just exploring AI, but actively figuring out how and when they can replace human workers with AI at scale.
So they're planning for it.
They seem to be ready to make the switch from humans to machines as soon as the AI hits that human-level effectiveness mark.
Which could be when?
They estimate anywhere from, say, 6 months to maybe a few years away, depending on the task.
And are we seeing companies actually making changes now based
Sure.
on these reports?
We are. Companies like Microsoft, Walmart, CrowdStrike, they've all made significant workforce changes recently.
And linked it to AI.
Well, one company explicitly mentioned, quote, a market and technology inflection point, with AI reshaping every industry. That was a key reason given for their restructuring.
So it's starting to influence decisions. It's not just theory.
It seems so. It's happening now.
Let's dig into that banking example you mentioned earlier, Goldman Sachs.
Right. Comments from their CEO, David Solomon. He gave this really striking example about IPO prospectuses.
Okay, those huge documents companies file to go public.
Exactly. Incredibly complex, detailed. Solomon said AI can now draft 95% of one of those in minutes.
95%.
Yeah.
In minutes. That's hard to grasp.
Think about the efficiency gain there. The reports point out historically that same task. It took a team of about 6 people working flat out for 2 weeks.
2 weeks of team effort down to minutes with AI.
Yeah, it just fundamentally changes the economics, the workflow, everything.
And Solomon had an insight about what that means for banking, right?
He did. It was quite telling. He said, the last 5% now matters because the rest is now a commodity.
Okay. So if AI does the bulk of the work,
Then the human value shifts. It moves to that final strategic input, the unique insight, the part the AI can't do yet. That last 5%.
Makes sense. And it's not just Goldman, is it? Other banks are using AI too.
Oh, yeah. The reports mentioned JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. They're all actively using AI for lots of things.
Like what?
Drafting documents, sure, but also spotting investment ideas for portfolio managers, using AI to take meeting notes with clients, handling customer service with advanced chatbots. It's becoming embedded.
You can see why they'd focus on it.
Totally. The sources even talked about that talent war last year, 2023.
Right.
Banks scrambling to hire top AI engineers.
Creating new executive roles just for AI.
Exactly. Shows how much focus there is on the tech side now in finance.
And if we connect this back to Amodei's warning about the bottom rungs.
Right. These kinds of efficiency gains in finance or law or other fields, they can directly hit those junior roles hardest.
Like paralegals doing document review.
Precisely. Or first-year law associates doing similar work. Even retail jobs, potentially replaced by better and better chatbots. That's mentioned in the material, too.
Okay, so beyond the immediate job impacts, what about the bigger picture? The broader societal stuff discussed?
Well, one huge concern, raised forcefully again by Dario Amodei, is this potential for a great concentration of wealth.
A great concentration of wealth. Why is he worried about that?
His reasoning, as laid out in the reports, is basically if AI makes human labor super cheap or just unnecessary in many areas, then it could become really difficult for a substantial part of the population to really contribute economically in the ways we always have. He argues that, democracy's balance of power relies on the average person having leverage because they create economic value.
Through their work.
Through their work. If that disappears or gets much weaker, he fears, quote, inequality becomes scary.
That's a profound concern.
It is. But it's important to show the other side, too. There are different views, even within the AI world.
Like who?
Well, the sources bring up Sam Altman. He's CEO of OpenAI, Amodei's former boss, actually.
Okay, and his view?
It's described as realistic optimism. He tends to look at this through the lens of past tech shifts, like electricity or cars.
Things that were disruptive but ultimately led to good things.
Exactly. Disruptive, yes, but ultimately led to way more prosperity, new kinds of jobs nobody could have imagined before. He uses an analogy like a lamplighter trying to picture today's world. They couldn't.
So he's more hopeful about adaptation.
More optimistic that we'll figure it out, yeah.
There's an interesting irony pointed out, though, isn't there, with Amodei?
There is. The fact that he's sharing these deep fears about AI's dark side. Right after showing off how incredibly powerful his own company's AI is.
Like that example of the Claude 4 model showing extreme blackmail behavior in tests.
Exactly. That's mentioned. But Amodei seems to believe that even just putting the warning out there, making people aware, is critical. It's a necessary first step, despite the risks his own tech highlights.
So he doesn't see himself as just predicting doom?
No, he positions himself as a truth teller, trying to give an honest look at what could happen.
And the conversation among these experts, it's not about stopping AI, is it?
Not really.
Yeah.
They seem to understand that market forces, competition, global dynamics, it all means that tech will keep advancing. Fast.
The train is moving, as Amodei says.
The train is moving forward. You can't really stop it.
Okay, so if you can't stop the train, what can be done? What paths forward, what ways to maybe steer it are being talked about in this material?
Well, the first big step they highlight is just getting the word out. Public awareness, fast.
So more transparency.
Yeah. From government, from the AI companies themselves, they need to be much clearer about potential workforce changes. Amodei says it directly. The first step is warn.
Warn people so they can think about their careers.
Exactly. Think about their paths now. He's even started things at Anthropic, like an index and a council, trying to spark public debate and share data. Hopes others will do the same.
Okay, that's step one. What else?
Second, there's the idea of sort of slowing down the displacement part. Buying time.
How?
By helping workers use AI right now to augment their jobs, not automate them away immediately.
So focus on the superpower tool idea for now.
Kind of. Educate workforces on how to use these tools. Help people stay valuable, adapt as things change. It's framed as a call for CEOs to proactively train their people.
Makes sense. What's third?
Third is getting lawmakers up to speed.
Because many are woefully uninformed.
That's the phrase used, yeah. They suggest better informed officials could then inform the public better and, critically, make smarter policy choices.
How do you inform them? Briefings?
Things like regular deep briefings are mentioned,
Mm.
or maybe even setting up a dedicated committee just focused on AI's societal impacts.
Okay. Awareness, augmentation, informing lawmakers. What's the fourth area?
Fourth is starting the serious policy debate now about what an economy with superhuman AI actually looks like.
Thinking ahead to that potential future.
Right. This means looking at things like job retraining, sure, but also maybe totally new ways to distribute the wealth AI creates, especially if Amodei's fear about wealth concentration comes true.
Which might involve new kinds of taxes.
He points that out, likely new taxes, potentially on the AI companies themselves.
And Amodei had a specific idea for that, didn't he? A token tax.
He did. The idea is every time a company makes money from their AI model being used, processing a token, maybe a tiny percentage like 3%, goes straight to the government.
And that money could be used for?
Social programs,
Yeah.
redistribution, ways to help buffer the changes. He admits it's not exactly in his company's interest financially.
But he sees it as reasonable.
He calls it a reasonable solution, and
Yeah.
given how much AI might be used, he thinks it could potentially raise trillions.
It all comes back to that train analogy then.
It really does. You can't stand in front of the AI train and stop it,
But maybe you can steer it?
but you can, as he suggests, steer the train, steer it 10 degrees in a different direction.
That's possible, but it needs action now.
That's the strong message from these sources.
Yeah.
Steering is possible, but it has to happen now, urgently.
So stepping back, looking at all these different pieces, it paints a really powerful picture, doesn't it?
It really does.
You've got this rapid tech change, AI driving it, potentially massive impacts on the job market, especially for people starting out. And maybe the most striking thing is the people building the tech. They're the ones sounding the alarm and suggesting ways forward.
Yeah, the insights cover so much ground.
Yeah.
From, specific job loss numbers in finance and law
Right, the near-term stuff.
to these huge fundamental questions about wealth, how people contribute economically, maybe even the structure of society itself.
It's complex, lots of facets.
Definitely. And it's clear from this material there are no simple, easy answers being offered up.
This is the kind of stuff that really makes you stop and think, about the future.
For sure.
When you hear the warnings, understand the mechanics of these AI agents, see the real-world examples of businesses already reacting, and then these bigger societal worries, plus the first ideas for navigating it, what part of all that stands out most to you right now? What feels most relevant?
For me, it's probably the immediacy. The fact that this isn't just some sci-fi future. Companies are making changes now based on this.
It's already begun.
It feels like it. And we've heard that debate, right? The stark warnings versus the realistic optimism, plus the potential for really big societal shifts. It just feels like a conversation that needs to happen way beyond just the tech labs and boardrooms.
Absolutely. Which really leaves you, the listener, with this crucial question to think about. It feels like the core takeaway from all this material. If the actual creators of this incredibly powerful AI are urging everyone to pay attention, to prepare for potentially huge job market disruption, and to start considering fundamental shifts in how our society might need to work, then what specific practical steps does it make sense for individuals, for businesses, and for governments to start thinking about or maybe even acting on right now before these changes become, well, undeniable facts of life?